Welcome to Nihon-GO News, where every week we count down the top 5 most important
and most ridiculous stories from Japan. I'm Abbey.
And I'm Scott. Let's get started.
Yeah! Number 5. The 20th anniversary of the release of the Nintendo 64. On June 23rd, Japanese fans of old-school gaming celebrated the 20th anniversary of the Japanese release of the Nintendo 64, which, depending on your age, is either a fun fact in video game history or just makes you feel really old. This is a big deal because in Japan, turning 20 is an important milestone. It's the legal drinking age, smoking age, and every year in February, there's a huge countrywide coming-of-age party for all of the newly minted adults turning 20 that year. So you can imagine that quite a few Japanese Twitter users took to social media to mark this momentous occasion. Here, someone created an actual 3D version of the iconic N64 logo. That's one very classy paperweight. Another user was shocked to discover that they share a birthday with one of the best video game consoles ever. The date of the 20th anniversary of the American release of the Nintendo 64 will be 3 months from now on September 23rd, 2016. So mark those calendars, we're having a Mario party!
Number 4. Internet pirates versus hired pirates. Japanese anime, music, dramas, and TV shows are more popular than ever before all over the world. And without an easy or affordable way to supply the demand overseas, many people turn to pirating as their only option. But recently, the Japanese government hired a crew of its own internet pirates in an attempt to make illegally distributed media walk the plank. Which, when you think about it, kind of makes sense. Who better understands the inner workings of internet piracy better than the pirates themselves? While getting rid of internet piracy completely is a bit of a pipe dream, let's hope that seeing the huge demand for Japanese media overseas inspires Japanese companies to make it easier, rather than harder, for foreign fans to purchase what they produce.
Number 3. Giant Asparagus. Hokkaido, Japan's northernmost prefecture, is well known as the country's breadbasket, where most of Japan gets their corn, beans, wheat, and a variety of other vegetables from. This week, in Hokkaido's Memuro town, one farmer discovered something that seems like it would be right at home in a nursery rhyme: a Titan-sized asparagus stalk. This enormous bud sprouted into a fused stalk at least 12 times the normal size of a typical asparagus. Honestly, it's quite the sight to behold, and I wonder how that farmer is going to cook it and eat it. Although with an asparagus that big, maybe it would just be better to invite it to be part of the family instead.
Number 2. Japanese reactions to Brexit. This week was a pretty big week for world news as the citizens of the United Kingdom voted to leave the European Union. So what did the Japanese people think about the situation? The more I hear about this, the more it sounds like the Osaka Metropolis Plan referendum from last year that would have turned Osaka into a metropolis and its surrounding cities into wards, just like Tokyo. When it came time to vote, all the young people voted for it, but all the old people voted against it, so they defeated it with sheer numbers. The British pound dropped from 160 yen per pound to 130 yen per pound overnight, which is a small disaster for British people going to Japan, but kind of nice for Japanese people going to Britain. This one Japanese guy said, "Hope I can buy some pounds on the cheap. I'm glad I didn't go before now."
Number 1. Big trouble in Little Okinawa. This past week in Okinawa, an intoxicated U.S. base employee drove through a red light, colliding with another car. There were no injuries, but this has increased the outrage in Okinawa over the growing list of crimes committed by U.S. base employees. Just a few weeks before, a similar accident happened when a U.S. sailor was driving drunk and struck another car, injuring the other driver. With all this following the death of a 20-year-old Okinawan girl at the hands of a former U.S. base employee last month, and years of other similar incidents, the call to remove the U.S. bases from Okinawa has reached new heights with mass rallies demanding the withdrawal of U.S. Marines. It's uncertain how the Japanese and U.S. government leadership will handle this situation, especially after the recent failed implementation of curfews and drinking bans. The issue gets more and more heated every day, and it's only a matter of time before it explodes. That's all the Nihon-GO news for this week. If you want to stay up to date, don't forget to subscribe, and we'll see you next week. Until then, here's your weekly cute.